Circular breathing. I've seen quite a few videos on YouTube explaining the concept of circular breathing. Some of them are very good and some of them are not as good. The one that I don't necessarily recommend, at least on the long run, is the blowing through the straw into a glass of water and keep a continuous flow of air bubbles. That's good if you want to understand the concept, in 30 seconds. After that, all you're accomplishing is learning how to blow air through a straw and make bubbles. So once you understand the concept, apply it to an instrument. Now, the video I saw that was actually quite helpful, that helped me learn how to circular breathe. And by the way, I'm in the process of learning this. I started messing around with circular breathing about 5 or 6 months ago. It's getting better. The video I found very helpful was the Rico demonstration video on YouTube featuring Kenny G, talking about circular breathing. I actually thought that one was quite good. He's circular breathing through a soprano sax. The tube is small, the tube is skinny, and he uses a soft reed, and you can fill up your cheeks with air and probably take a breath, and the air in your cheeks can last as long as a full second on soprano sax. That's not going to be the case with baritone. I've been trying it on baritone. It's for me right now, I consider it impossible. But I'm not a baritone player, so. Tenor is very difficult. I'm getting it down well on alto, and as I progress, I will move to a bigger horn. It's much easier to disguise the fact that you're circular breathing when the notes are a moving passage. If you're going to hold one steady note, one steady solid note, it's much more noticeable. I can't do it yet. So anyway, I'll show you what I've gotten to at this point. If I'm playing a moving passage, let's try that with circular breathing. Now, here's the thing that I've discovered, and I didn't notice this until I started circular breathing. If I'm going to play as a practice exercise, I'm only going to play it, in normal circumstances until I run out of air. I take a breath, I stop for a second, and start doing that again, whatever key it would be in. I've discovered through circular breathing that my fingers get tired because they never moved in a continuous 5 or 6 note succession for more than 15 to 18 seconds. And now, if you practice circular breathing on one little lick for as long as 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes, your fingers are really going to feel it. It's really quite interesting. What I try to do is when I feel that fatigue coming in, I'll look at the wall and think about a crack in the wall or something. I don't know. I just got to find a way to distract my mind from the fatigue that is starting to creep into the top of my hand, right here especially. Now, that's not because I have any physical problem with my hand. We know about my carpal tunnel syndrome, rather. I spoke about that. This is a completely different thing. This is perfectly normal, and everyone's going to go through that. So, on a moving passage, if I'm going to play the same thing for 2 minutes, let's say, I'm going to have to take my time. I'm going to have to think about what I'm doing, and I'm going to have to just understand that over time, it will get better and better and easier and easier. So you felt I started to slip up. That's where I stopped. The other thing that I'm working on that you can hear is dynamics, going from double piano to mezzo forte to double forte back down, and trying to figure out how long it's going to take at that dynamic, how much time you have to take in a breath. So because of this, because we can circular breathe, or because we're learning how to circular breathe, we can play chords now. And that's really a lot of fun, especially if you're playing jazz, you got a cadenza somewhere, and you want to just have a little fun. You don't feel like taking a breath yet. My fingers are what gave out, not my embouchure, which I've never even thought of before in my life. So that's the discovery that I've made. More importantly than learning how to circular breathe, I've discovered there's a limit to how long I can move my fingers without having to allow them to take a breath. The other thing is I never thought in terms of a big, long passage, at least in the improvisational sense. They were always, this, take a breath and have a thought, which is going to be more creative anyway, if you breathe. I've said to many piano players, when I find that they're playing these run-on phrases, I've always said, just blow air through your mouth as you're playing. As soon as the air runs out and you got to take a breath, lift your fingers up. And think like a horn player and think that way, because we should speak in sentences, not these long run-on word after word things. So there is my take on circular breathing for now. And as it gets better, I will move on to tenor. And then when I get it down on tenor, I'm going to attempt to do it on baritone. I haven't met a baritone player that can circular breathe. I'm sure they're out there, and I can't wait to come across one who does it well so that maybe he can give me a lesson. So circular breathe, you will discover so many new things in experimenting with it, like I discovered with my fingers. It's a good thing to know. It's a good thing to explore. It will make you a better saxophone player. Thanks for watching.